what's up, everybody? This is the Club of Demand 1993 coming at you with another WWE special video. Now, this video, again, as my other two ones, are just going to focus on a certain topic that I had on my mind. Now, why this video? So, it started on Sunday. I was watching Extreme Rules. The big surprise return of Seth Rollins. Was not expecting him to come back until the middle of June, or at the latest by the SummerSlam build-up. But nope, he's back. The crowd went nuts. I went nuts. And then the next day on Monday Night Raw, he comes out. He makes this great speech of return. I mean, he was getting a huge reaction. Huge! I don't think I heard of more of a reaction since, like, Daniel Bryan's retirement speech, or, maybe when Shane O'Mac came back or something like that. But it was just a huge reaction. And he's like, did you guys really miss me or something? And again, before I go on, I don't want this video at all to, down anything from Monday Night Raw last night, because I thought Raw last night was a really good show. Like, I graded it as an A- last night on a live review with my friend Daniel Gaiza. Check out his channel, as I always say. It's down in the description is a link to his channel, and check out last night's review of Monday Night Raw. Him and I both discussed it. But anyways, afterwards, I was reading some articles, watching reviews and stuff, and a lot of people are saying the same thing. Why on earth did they bring Seth Rollins back as a heel? And I kind of agree. It's like I figured they could have brought him back as a babyface instead of a heel. I mean, I think it's okay that he's still a heel because he can make it work. But I do agree, with how big of a pop he got last night, and then to have him pretty much come back and to slap us in the face and say, "I don't care what you guys think. It's me. I'm not here to please you or anybody." Which it's good heel tactics, but it felt like a slap in the face. Like, do you ever just listen to some of the promos these guys say, or even some of the stuff that the announcers say, and you think to myself, is that really them, or is that just Vince telling them just to sound like this is a kiss up? It's like, oh, no need to worry, it's Roman Reigns, but he has, you love him or hate him, you still have a passion for him. Come on. Or last night is like Seth Rollins pretty much saying, I'm back. I don't care what you guys want to do to me. I still hate you all. Pretty much, I'm just still here for myself, not to please you. And I don't care if you guys miss me. I burned all those get well letters and such. It's like, come on, really? You had the guy, like, towards the end, before he got injured, set up to do a huge baby face turn. You're going to come back here and pretty much scratch it all. I mean, even you realized, too, last night, he went up to Stephanie McMahon, and when Stephanie said, things are different around here now, so pretty much seemed like they weren't aligned anymore. Now, I mean, again, I don't want to bash Monday Night Raw last night at all, because Monday Night Raw was excellent. But at the same time, I'm thinking in my head, after thinking about that again, it's like, did they have Seth Rollins moved on from, relying on the authority for everything? I don't know. But anyways, and then today, I read an article somewhere I found online that made it seem like that they're blaming Triple H for the big push for Roman Reigns. So apparently, Vince McMahon is getting frustrated with the negative reaction and saying that makes it like he's not as much against it anymore as, Triple H is, and claims the way to say this will be bringing up Finn Balor. And I'm like, what? What was this guy drinking or something like that? Like, what was this guy thinking when he wrote this article? It's just like, this is all Vince. It's not Triple H. If it was Triple H, NXT wouldn't be so successful. This is all Vince McMahon. So again, as I said before, I'm still a Roman Reigns fan. I even have a shirt right in my closet right now. If I go over and pull it out right now, I don't feel like getting up. But I want to see him booked right too, like everybody else. I want to like him. I mean, I still like him, but I want to, appreciate his booking more. So that's why this special video of mine is going to be focusing on opportunities that WWE missed to turn Roman Reigns heel. Because turning Roman Reigns heel, I think, is going to help him. It's going to make the crowd go respectful for him, and then eventually he can turn back to being a babyface skin. But right now, they've really screwed up, and they're making him look like John Cena 2.0. So let's get started with this video. Again, focusing on missed opportunities WWE had with Roman Reigns. And let's go back in time. we are going to go back to 2013. Now, earlier in the year, it was probably after the Royal Rumble, the Shield and the Wyatt family had a little feud going. And it was kind of at the time teasing a Shield face turn, and I think they eventually turned face in March, right before WrestleMania, to set up that six-man tag team match between Kane and the New Age Outlaws. All three of these members of the Shield were over like crazy. Everybody loved them. I loved them, for crying out loud. And then after WrestleMania, they had an excellent, brutal feud between the reunited Evolution, which was with Triple H, Dave Bautista, and Randy Orton. And that was an excellent feud. Shield won a clean sweep. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. What's next for the Shield? The next night on Raw, June 2nd, 2013, one of the biggest heel turns, probably the biggest heel turn in my mind, happened that night. 3 months after they turned face, Seth Rollins turned his back on the Shield and slams a chair into Roman Reigns and even more into Dean Ambrose. And, you know, for months, probably ever since the Royal Rumble, I was expecting the Shield to eventually go their separate ways. I didn't know who I thought would. I mean, you know, I had a case for each one. You know, each one of these guys could be a top heel. But, you know, I think after a while, it did make sense since Seth Rollins is the architect of the Shield, and it worked out great. Now, Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, you know, for a while, I think they're starting to finally push Dean Ambrose into, you know, a solid main event picture with his past two pay-per-view victories over Chris Jericho. But Roman Reigns, I was going nuts for Roman Reigns at this time. Like I said, still am a fan of Roman Reigns, but not as much as I used to be. I've definitely gone down on him a little bit ever since his booking started going bad. So, what happened after that? You know, they put both Rollins and Ambrose in the Money in the Bank contract ladder match, and then the Authority knows after still, you know, Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, they put Roman Reigns in the Money in the WWE World Heavyweight Championship 8-man ladder match, because that's when Daniel Bryan had to relinquish the title because of his neck surgery. Excuse me. So, and then that in Battleground, they had him in the title match also in a fatal 4-way between John Cena himself, Randy Orton, and Kane. And, you know, at that time, it's like, you know, I was rooting for him, but it's just like, yeah, I don't quite expect him to win because, you know, Daniel Bryan probably should have been the champion at this time. But right now, John Cena is pretty much being a placeholder for him, pretty much. I felt like just John Cena was doing all Daniel Bryan's dirty work. I should say dirty work, but he pretty much filmed Daniel Bryan's shoes after Daniel Bryan got injured. And because I really felt that at Survivor Series, instead of Team Cena, it should have been Team Bryan if Bryan was still around. But again, we're not going to go with that. We're going to focus on Roman Reigns for this video. So again, you know, I think, you know, they were just teasing, you know, this guy's a future star. Let's get him into some title matches and just see what he can do. And then by SummerSlam, I was kind of hoping, especially ever since that feud with Evolution, I was really hoping that Roman Reigns would have been facing Triple H at SummerSlam. That was like a dream match of mine at that time. And instead they put him up against Randy Orton, which I'm like, okay, I am okay with that. You know, Roman Reigns had his issues with people who were part of the Authority as well, and, you know, Randy Orton was one of them. And I thought, okay, solid match. And I was really excited to see Roman Reigns go over. But it was around that time, my friend Dan said something to me, and it did kind of hit me, and I'm like, oh, shoot, yeah, that's right. They better do that. He said that he wouldn't mind seeing Reigns lose this match. He says they gotta be careful. They don't want to make him into the next John Cena. I'm like, that's true. Yeah, I mean, he had like a 75 winning percentage or something in 2014. But he was getting this really huge push, and he was like really over with the crowd too at the time. But again, I gotta be thinking, you know, are they really gonna go with that direction for Roman Reigns? And I'm like, first I'm like, I don't know. Roman Reigns is not like a John Cena. He looks like just like a guy who just wants to, you know, rip your head off. He doesn't look like a nice guy who just wants to, you know, make everybody happy. He looks like this guy who could just be like a Samoan badass pretty much. And then also around that time too, that's when I started reading rumors about, yeah, Roman Reigns probably be dethroning Brock Lesnar of the title, since Brock Lesnar was supposed to be winning the title at SummerSlam, which he did. And I'm like, oh boy, maybe they are right. Maybe, hopefully, they don't take Reigns into that direction. And, of course, after listening to the CM Punk podcast, how they were so obsessed with building Roman strong, I'm like, maybe we should be a little careful about this one. Hopefully, WWE doesn't make the same mistake with John Cena. Well, then, there was not much to worry about at the time, because after SummerSlam, it was the week before Night of Champions. Yes, I remember, because they had the match booked for Night of Champions. It would be Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. Because I'm sure they were setting up that match just to have Dean Ambrose return, because he was out of act. He was written off television for about a month because he was involved in the movie after Rollins drove his head through cinder blocks. But what was weird was they actually did the match. They had a match, Reigns and Rollins, the Raw before Night of Champions, and it ended cleanly too. So I'm just like, okay, why would they do this? Why wouldn't they wait till Sunday? But again, maybe they were just going to focus more on Dean Ambrose's return on Sunday. But who knows? But again, I'm like, okay, still fine. But then, as we all know, Roman Reigns got injured with like a hernia, I think it was, and he was going to be out for a while. I'm like, oh shoot, this is not good. But then, despite that, he was still voted to be the 2014 Superstar of the Year, which, come on, he had Daniel Bryan probably would have been up a higher candidate for it, but, he missed most of the year. Reigns only missed, October, November, 2 full months, maybe, and then, counting parts of, September and December, still, he had a high win percentage. There was no doubt about it that Roman Reigns was just tearing up the ring that year. It was like the rise of him. And then I'm like, okay, good move. Then he returned. Well, he actually came out at the Slammy Awards, which we all knew he was going to be due back soon. And then, huge pop he got when he returned at TLC 2014. But for some reason, this is the first bad move. They had him return in the match between Seth Rollins and John Cena, which afterwards made no sense at all. He was after the Authority and stuff, but this was right now. It wasn't so much about the Authority. This is getting ready to build Rollins up for the Royal Rumble, which afterwards, and I'm sure we all will not forget this. Backstage, Reigns was the first person to announce his entrance into the Royal Rumble, and of course, you can tell that he messed up because of his scripted promo. And, again, that's when people start saying too around this time, let him say whatever he wants. Don't script him, When he was a heel with the Shield, he was great on the microphone. But now you're starting to, script him and he's, looking lost and stuff. So then I'm like, okay, yes, the Royal Rumble coming up. You all knew at this point Reigns was going to win it. Because then there is these memes going on. This is one of my favorite memes. I remember posting it 5 times on the internet in 2015. Bryan in the Royal Rumble. Oh no, I'm going to get Batista'd. Because Daniel Bryan made a huge announcement the last week of 2014. And he threw us all off. I even got scared the first 2 that he was going to be announcing his retirement then, but instead he announced his entrance into the Royal Rumble. And I'm like, okay, the perfect setup, have Bryan win the Rumble and win back the title off of Brock Lesnar. It's a dream match. Bryan never lost the title. He never got his rematch. Go for it. What did they do? Not only does Bryan not win the Royal Rumble, but they made him look like a joke, eliminating him really early against Bray Wyatt. And then, because after that, myself, some of my friends and I, we were completely turned off. We were like, yeah. And then once Bryan eliminated, it was, we were all pissed off. And what happened after that, though, during the rest of that Rumble, it just, it felt like a segment on Raw. It didn't feel like the Royal Rumble because Kane and the Big Show were in there. It felt like it's the Authority, going after Roman Reigns. They were just just knocking everybody out. Just okay, go ahead, take out the trash, go ahead, taking him out. And then, of course, it comes down to, which I didn't realize at the time Rusev was still in the match. He just rolled out of the ring. Of course, he got eliminated last by Reigns. But then, it's just Kane and Big Show beating him up. And then we're all just like, oh my goodness, this is the worst. You couldn't have made it any more worse than this. Like, I don't think there was anything worse I've seen so far than the Royal Rumble in 2015. And then, of course, The Rock came out. Because he's Roman Reigns' cousin. Oh, The Rock is here. Oh, the fans will be so happy. He'll be having such a great time. No, at that point, the fans didn't care, Vince. Do you think we're stupid? Because even look at this meme right here. You have Reigns saying, I look so strong, even though, again, it's not his fault. And The Rock, they're thinking, what have I done? Because, that's the thing. That's what should have happened. I mean, that shouldn't happen. You didn't need The Rock to be there. You booed The Rock. Who boos The Rock? Any more of the segments they have with The Rock, he gets booed most of the time because Vince has used him to be a kiss-up. To make the fans love Roman Reigns. And now you're trying to do the same thing with Seth Rollins. If that's what you're trying to do, it's not going to work. We're not stupid. We don't forget things. So that's even worse after that. His mic skills were going down and down and down. And that's when he started telling, fairy tales or little Looney Tune stuff. I even found this meme on here saying, believe that. Because they're having talking the story by Jack and the Beanstalk with the Big Show. Suffering succotash. All the stuff that you would not hear out of a guy that looks as deadly like this. This is a Samoan badass. This is not a fairy tale guy. This is not a guy that's just here to make everybody's day and make everybody smile like Roman Reigns. He does not look like that at all. He looks like a guy that just wants to rip your heart out and just destroy you. So then we get to my first opportunity, I feel, when they should have turned Roman Reigns heel. And that was obviously at Fastlane. Or even right after Fastlane. So, as we all know, no one was happy that Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble in 2015 because everybody wanted to see Daniel Bryan to win. And what I was more upset about also was they made everybody else look so weak, except for Roman Reigns and of course Kane and Big Show because they somehow still love them when they are pointless. So why do I think they should have turned Roman Reigns heel then? I mean, the only reason why I kind of am 50-50 on this one is because of what it would have set Seth Rollins for. But I still think Seth Rollins cash-in could have been done at WrestleMania, even with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar in there, because at the time, too, Brock Lesnar was white hot. He was pretty much a tweener. You downgrade from a heel to a tweener, and he pretty much was just about to be a babyface. So, I think it would have been okay to have, a heel Roman Reigns facing a babyface Brock Lesnar. Well, how could you turn Roman Reigns heel, though, in this situation? It's simple. Fans weren't happy. Daniel Bryan comes out and just has to tell the truth. Just like he did in 2014. He told the truth. What happened? He got in. So, what are you going to... The same thing could happen here. Came out the next... Well, not really the next night on Raw, because Raw got canceled because of the bad weather. And they had they just had some interview segments at WWE headquarters in Connecticut. The week after the Rumble, Daniel Bryan comes out, and just after the authorities out talking about how not many people saying the truth, not many people were really happy that you won, or you're of course controversial since The Rock came into the Rumble match. Well, I mean, it didn't quite interfere because he only attacked people who were already eliminated, which was Kane to Big Show. And then Daniel Bryan, and of course Seth Rollins comes out, makes his case, and Daniel Bryan comes out again, makes the case. He never lost the title or anything like that. So then Triple H is like, why don't we put you on your spot in the main event of WrestleMania on the line, Roman, or something like that. And he's like, okay, screw it, let's just do this, or something like that. Well, first off, why not have him say, screw it, let's just do it? That's him just accepting it. Have the authorities pretty much come out and instead just say, you know what, Roman, this is what's going to happen. We're going to have to do this. Give Roman no say at all whatsoever. Make him have to suffer for it. And then they had a match that night with Seth Rollins and Daniel Bryan, which was a little weird because, they had Roman Reigns come out and pretty much help Daniel Bryan win it. It's like, why? Like, why would you want to help somebody win? I mean, he wanted to get his revenge on Seth Rollins, but then again, maybe he felt, Bryan was more deserving candidate. I don't know. But again, she shouldn't really be a nice guy. He should be this guy who just doesn't care, rips everybody apart. So then, another thing I was a little annoyed about this build-up was, at times, especially on the segment after Fastlane, when Roman Reigns won, that segment afterwards, they had Daniel Bryan come out and pretty much just say, the same time after, everybody else wasn't too happy yet, you won. And me, I beat you a nice guy, but this time I was like, boo, boo. But you know what? You won last night, fair and square. You're great. Congratulations. I can't wait to be in the 5-on-2 match tonight with you or something like that. And I'm just like, you're just making me sick. That, again, another example. That was not Daniel Bryan speaking. That was all Vince. He's pretty much saying, oh, let's have Roman Reigns beat Daniel Bryan, and then after that, everybody will think Roman Reigns is great, and they'll be happy. It's like, we're not stupid again. No. And, how could Roman Reigns turn heel? Well, one, if he would have lost, you could blame The Rock. Because The Rock's interference was what caused him to lose this match. And it could have been, instead of a match with Brock Lesnar, it could have been Roman Reigns versus The Rock at WrestleMania 31. And then, Daniel Bryan could have still gone to the main event. Seth Rollins could still cash in after Bryan could have won the title. Have Seth Rollins cash in. Bryan and Rollins are friends. I wouldn't. Well, in real life they are, but I wouldn't mind seeing them have a nice solid feud as well. Or another option besides just a simple Batista heel turn style with Roman Reigns, because Daniel Bryan's just getting the spotlight. Even the night after Fastlane, in that 5-on-2 match, have Reigns turn on Bryan then and just turn heel right there and just say, you think I'm going to take you lightly or something like that, or you were still in my spotlight, I'm not going to just take this crap or something like that. Make it look like it's the bad guy. Just have him send a message out or something like that. And again, maybe have a heel Reigns versus a face Brock Lesnar, and still have Seth Rollins cash in. People would have been more happy about that. So that's one missed opportunity I want to mention. And then of course, around this time, what also was hurting him big time was his countless feuds with the Big Show. His countless matches. He had so many matches on Raw. And rumors have it, before that whole controversy for Fastlane about Reigns winning, I heard a rumor that the main event of Fastlane was supposed to be the last man standing match we got at Extreme Rules between the Big Show and Roman Reigns in a last man standing match. Again, that would have been terrible, and Fastlane would have been. Fastlane was okay in the end of that year, but it would have been a lot worse. And that's again another thing too. They just turned Big Show heel, and then at that time, we were all sick of the Big Show because he has pretty much nothing left. He should just retire. And again, they instead of making him the world's largest athlete looking dangerous, they made him look like the world's largest crybaby, in my opinion. And the most too, his promos leading up to his match against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania were just terrible. There was no good build-up for this at all. Especially the ending to the go-home show on Monday Night Raw before WrestleMania. Instead of having these guys, go to the ring, just tear each other apart. They were supposed to be on face-to-face. You know what they do instead? They play a tug-of-war over the title. Come on, people! So then after this, we're going to fast forward because, they kind of slowed him down a little bit after WrestleMania. They didn't put him back into the title picture right away. They had him face the Big Show, which I think this was Vince saying, just do the match. It doesn't matter at this point. And it had the triple threat of Payback. He didn't win it. So we're moving on. So next part where they should have turned Roman Reigns heel during the build-up for the Elimination Chamber. Because here's my question. I'm going to put this out here. After the Fatal 4-Way at Payback, Dean Ambrose was the one who went after Seth Rollins again to get a title shot. And I think it was a week later, something like that. Reigns was like, good move there, Dean, or something like that. And, I think they were just trying to, throughout most of the rest of the year 2015, they were pretty much stressing out the brotherhood between Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. But here's one problem though, a little bit. This is your top star they're trying to build up to be that number one face. Why was he not even on this pay-per-view? He didn't even have a match in the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. It was Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins. Simple. Dean Ambrose steps into his spot in front of him in line. Roman Reigns was the one who was right up there. He was, kind of wanted another match or something like that. He was more entitled to it probably at that time more than Dean Ambrose. And he's not even on the pay-per-view. He doesn't even, try to interfere with the match or even cost Dean Ambrose the title. That was a perfect opportunity. Dean Ambrose stepped in his spotlight. We want to get your big dog on the show somehow. I don't even know. I seriously, I think this was one of the better opportunities. If not here, definitely, maybe a Money in the Bank. Well, this one I'm 50-50 about because, it would have made sense though because, Reigns lost because of the interference of Bray Wyatt. And, but even if, Reigns would have, got the Money in the Bank contract, could have cashed in on Dean Ambrose or something like that. Or, I guess, again, like interfere in the spotlight, even if he would have won and just cashed in the middle of, try to cash in the middle of the match, he could have, turned heel by, saying that, I didn't care, you still accused to say about Dean getting in his way. He says, I don't care, instead of having them both being all nice to each other all summer. But again, I feel like it would be more effective if we have that Elimination Chamber and not Money in the Bank, especially since, they led on to that feud with Bray Wyatt. It's just what happened. So I guess, Money in the Bank was not quite the best choice, but still, it's something that could have possibly happened. So now we're going to fast forward through that whole feud with the Wyatt family, because it wasn't too bad of a feud. What kind of bothered me about that feud, though, was the fact that they didn't really push Dean Ambrose much. They made him, like, Roman's sidekick or something like that. And and I feel like during that feud, it should have been more so, I was worried more about them turning Dean Ambrose heel on Roman Reigns. Which, again, as I keep mentioning in most of my videos, until, his babyface run wears out, or he's not getting over most of the crowd anymore, unless there's another top, successful babyface, don't turn Dean Ambrose heel until then. I mean, you can turn eventually, he'll make a great heel, but again, not now. So, I mean, they lost a couple times to the Wyatt family in tag team action, it could have had, Roman Reigns just blame Dean, turn on Dean and blame him for, Dean could even, you mentioned, as the babyface, saying that, I'm tired of doing all your dirty work. That's what it seems like all I'm doing anymore. But, yeah, that's that. A huge opportunity was for the build for Survivor Series. Originally, as we all know, it's supposed to be Roman Reigns going against Seth Rollins for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at Survivor Series. Unfortunately, those plans had to change, because Seth Rollins suffered a severe knee injury. I believe he tore his ACL, his MCL, and his meniscus. I can't remember, but he had a really bad knee injury. It was supposed to keep him out for 6 to 9 months, and he ended up coming back about the earliest, maybe just a tad bit earlier. But so after this, now even if let's try to focus here first off. Even if trying to think, if Rollins was still around and he faced Reigns, I don't know. Eventually they probably could have turned him heel, and maybe they were originally planning on having a Shield triple threat or something like that for the main event of WrestleMania. Maybe, who knows? But this situation, they had a perfect opportunity right here to turn Roman Reigns heel, because the first segment they had, at the beginning of that tournament, or who would win, they had Triple H come out and pretty much offer Roman Reigns a bye through that whole tournament, since he was already a number one contender. And, Roman Reigns has said he will do anything it takes to become champion again. Even as a babyface, he was saying that. And Roman Reigns declines that offer. Again, it kind of fits his character. Why would you turn down an offer like that if you're trying to do whatever you can? It's not because he was a face. On they showed segments with Triple H talking to other people about being like the next big thing for the WWE, and even like a face of like Cesaro was like appreciative of like what was going on. Like even a few others, they were appreciative of Triple H's positivity of becoming his next man pretty much. Roman Reigns could have easily filled those shoes. Instead, what they do, they give it to Sheamus. I mean, I thought when he won Money in the Bank, it was a good idea to give to Sheamus. He just turned heel. He's trying to get some momentum, and I think that could have helped. But the problem is they put him in that push with Randy Orton because he had done that before and it just didn't work out. And after that, it's like he was rarely ever on the show anymore. You forgot his Money in the Bank. Even at Survivor Series, when he was in that stupid elimination match that had like no build on, nobody even cared about, he said something like really stupid and it looked so weak in that match. And then you decided to cash in later. That's like putting putting your biggest title on like Hornswoggle or something like that. It's like, why? They could have even if he would have accepted Triple H's offer to have a bye through the round. Dean Ambrose could have even came back and said, what are you doing? And then Reigns could have just send a message to Dean Ambrose. Could have set up for a championship match between the two of them. Again, a huge opportunity right here that was missed, I believe. So then we go into December after Sheamus wins the title and he loses the match at TLC. But after the match at TLC, they have Reigns just go nuts. He snapped and he beat the living heck out of Triple H. Wrote him off the show for about a month. And I love that. I'm like, okay, there we go. We're starting to get somewhere with Roman Reigns. Having him just beat the crap out of anybody, does not care, is not that complete, nice guy right now. He's just doing whatever he can. Yes, he's still a babyface, but still, you're getting somewhere with him. The next night on Raw, they stack all the odds against him. Even though he's not an underdog, they still put all the odds against him. Vince McMahon was there interfering. Stephanie McMahon and probably, the newly formed League of Nations were all there. Excuse me. And they're, and then the stipulation is, it's for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and if Roman Reigns does not win, he is fired. Boom. That's like a monster weight on Roman Reigns' back, and it's by all interference. He even knocked out through a Superman punch to the chairman of the board, Vince and Kenny McMahon himself. It was a really exciting match, and Roman Reigns won, and the crowd loved it. It worked. Like, you were finally, getting somewhere with him. Even if it was a baby face, you were getting him somewhere with it. And he even, said something in a promo afterwards to the crowd that, this was where he got booed the heck out of at the Royal Rumble. And it's the same spot where he finally, wins championship again. Right there, it's like, excellent. You gave him the title the right way. But then he kind of started going downhill again after that, building up to the Royal Rumble. Because, I think what happened was they just jumped on the bandwagon pretty much saying, oh, yes, they finally love him. Let's put the hell title on him now. And then I thought, okay, this is probably going to set up a match between him and Triple H at WrestleMania. And then they made the Royal Rumble match for the title. And I'm like, boy, what does this mean? I'm not too sure. I wasn't too sure about it first. Like, I felt a little more excited having the title being for have the Royal Rumble match just for like a new uprising star or something like that. So I thought, oh, maybe they'll have Brock Lesnar come back and face like Roman Reigns or even Sheamus. Have him like Sheamus if Sheamus wouldn't have lost his title in the following night after TLC. And then I thought have like Kevin Owens or somebody like that win the Royal Rumble and have Kevin Owens versus Brock Lesnar or something like that at WrestleMania, and then maybe even Triple H costs him the match somehow. Which part of that was going that way. And the reason why, well, first I'll go to the next slide. So Triple H does return at the Royal Rumble, number 30 entrant, and part of the reason why I didn't want the title to be on Roman Reigns for WrestleMania, especially if they were still going to have a match between him and Triple H, which again was a dream match of mine, probably since Payback of 2014. A dream match between Triple H and Roman Reigns, and I felt that Roman Reigns beat the Authority, he won the battle, he got the title. This feud with Triple H does not need to really involve the title, because this feud has got more personal than about the title, because Reigns got the title. He overcame the odds. He beat the Authority. What else was there to prove? Well, again, the Royal Rumble match wasn't that bad, but they gave Triple H the title. And then I'm just thinking, oh no, what are they doing here? I mean, I was okay with it at first, but I thought about, again, this doesn't need the title, because this isn't about the title. This was about, the personal issue they're having between each other. So I'm just like, oh, well, we'll have to see where it goes from here. So the next night on Raw, they, after the Royal Rumble, Triple H says that, Roman Reigns is not going to get any more chances to get this title. So we're going to decide the main event for Fastlane by the end of the night. And that match will have people in it that will determine who will face Triple H at WrestleMania. And, I heard a lot of rumors saying maybe just put an Elimination Chamber match there or something like that for a #1 contenders match or something like that. But that's fine. Make everybody earn their way in, Like, have them, selected off one by one. Goes on through the whole night, still hadn't heard anything. Until the end of the night, after the main event, Stephanie McMahon comes out and makes this match for Fastlane. A triple threat match between Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Brock Lesnar. Now, what's wrong with this? I mean, it was an okay match in the end, but what's wrong with the story here? As was pointed out by, I forgot, somebody who I watched a review. That what is wrong with this picture here? What was said at the beginning of the night? Roman Reigns is not going to get another title shot. They weren't going to give it again. Only who impressed the most. And then they throw this together. What? Like, why are you giving him a shot still? It's like they're a little loony or something like that. The only reason why I felt they could have continued on this is if they were trying to break the brotherhood between Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. I could have understood that. But that's not what they went with this. Instead, they just, made it just plain and simple. Okay, you're going to face Triple H, and then it was what it was. It was obvious at that point it was going to be Roman Reigns. I mean, it got a little shady because at first, Dean Ambrose had the Intercontinental title at the time, but then they took it off of him, which I thought, oh, maybe they have some big plans for him now. Instead, it's up to a match that should have been really good, but it was terrible in the end of WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar. It was just too short of a match. But, so then it's just like, okay, how are you going to continue to build this? Like, again, if they would have maybe, had Reigns somehow, do what Daniel Bryan did and, cross the line on the Authority again with, Occupy Raw, do something, not really copy Daniel Bryan, but do something, just something to get Roman Reigns to fight his way to get back and to get that title, it would be a little bit better. But all they focused on after that was just having, Reigns and Triple H really just beat the crap out of each other, which their brawls were good, but by the final night on not the final night, but by the again, another thing that happened too, a very unsuccessful ending to the Go Home show before WrestleMania, because they'd already had Reigns and Triple H have one encounter that night. They had a second one, and they already had the Authority come out and make their big speech. Then they had a final message for Roman Reigns at the end, which again felt no different than what happened before. Felt like repetition again. Not a good job leading into WrestleMania. So as we all know, WrestleMania goes in. WrestleMania was probably like a C show, I'd say. The main event was terrible. Again, it really bothered me again because, I had been looking forward to seeing those two fight in a match. I thought I was at least asking for just a good physical match instead. The pay-per-view had gone well over 11 o'clock already. It looked like they were just going through the motions. Like, okay, let's just get out of here. Even Triple H had no effort swinging that sledgehammer around that Roman Reigns' face. So what happens? As we all imagined, Roman Reigns becomes champion again. Didn't need to have that championship in there. Terrible build to that storyline. It's hurt Reigns even more. And if you notice too, starting that night, the crowd's volume gets down a little bit lower whenever Roman Reigns comes out because Vince McMahon doesn't want to put up with the boos. He's afraid of them. And they did these things where even last summer through the Wyatt family, Dean Ambrose with Roman Reigns only because they don't want Roman Reigns to get booed at SummerSlam if Dean Ambrose comes out with him, or I don't think we should keep Roman Reigns on television in Chicago on a Raw building up to WrestleMania because they might boo him. Obviously, if you're scared he's going to get booed, then you're obviously not doing something right. And there's a simple answer, and that's turning him heel. Again, he could have just turned heel right here. Dean Ambrose is getting in the way of the spotlight. Brock Lesnar's a face. Was face this. Dean Ambrose is the face of this. Where's the heel? You have the tweener right here in Roman Reigns. So then, another huge opportunity to turn Roman Reigns heel was the night after WrestleMania, or even at the end of the main event of WrestleMania, have The Rock come out to congratulate him. Again, as I refer back to the Royal Rumble 2015, let's pretend Roman Reigns is like, I don't want you to cost this on me again, or have the fans boo me again because you're out here. This is your fault. And then he'll just spear him and turn on The Rock. Could have done that. Or he even came out in his first segment as a champion the Raw at WrestleMania. And at first he goes, "Oh, come on, I'm not a good guy. I'm not a bad guy. I'm the guy." It's like you could have easily just kind of pulled something off what they did whenever Dolph Ziggler cashed in on Alberto Del Rio. Kind of pulled off like a double turn somewhat there, who's getting more over than the other. Then just start treating him as a heel. That's what they did for Alberto Del Rio. It just flowed better. And same thing when it got into have Roman Reigns become so full of himself or something like that, and to simply just turn him heel like that. It's easy. And then when he got into this feud with AJ Styles, which it was fun to watch all their matches and a decent feud. But story wise, I feel like they could have evolved a little bit more with Roman Reigns and the Bullet Club, or just the club. But then again, I felt if Roman Reigns is this guy who just wants to I want to see Roman Reigns be that guy who just wants to build up all these stables and just have people help him out. I want Roman Reigns to be a heel that's literally like Brock Lesnar. Does not need anybody else. Doesn't need any friends. Just can beat the crap out of anybody else on his own. And that's unfortunately what they couldn't do. And leading up to now, Seth Rollins returns. What should have happened is had them turn again, going back to Survivor Series. Could have by now, when Rollins comes back, by now they could have had Roman Reigns as the new top guy for the Authority, and the Authority pretty much saying we lost faith in you even after you left, and have Seth Rollins turn face and show the appreciation. But unfortunately, that's not quite what they're doing. Ah, man. All right. So now where are we going to go from here now? How can we still somehow get Roman Reigns to turn heel even though Seth Rollins is back? How do you perform a double turn? Or, do you at least is there a way you can keep Seth? I think the more obvious way right now is to keep Seth Rollins a heel. Because, I'm not sure you could somehow do a double turn, but I think right now the easier way would be just to turn Roman Reigns heel. And, maybe do something like this. We have the match at Money in the Bank, maybe a second match or something at Battleground with the stipulation to it. I don't know. Or, have Dean Ambrose maybe want to get his hands on Seth Rollins again and maybe just interfere in just one of his matches. I'm not sure. And then go into SummerSlam, setting up the Shield triple threat. Because it's obvious now that this needs to be the main event of SummerSlam. I'm still a little worried for someone going to make it John Cena versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam for that passing the torch match, but no, not yet. Again, I don't know, maybe have, like, Reigns get jealous of, like, how much more over, finally let it get to him, like, how much more over the crowd gets with Roman Reigns, I mean, not with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose than him. But then again, they'll probably just be like John Cena, and he won't care and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's like, again, I don't want to bash like how good because WWE's been doing great lately. I mean, it's just it could be even better if they just fix Roman Reigns. So that's pretty much what I gotta say. That's like the story of how Roman Reigns fell into this trap, and I just wanted to share, I think, some missed opportunities WWE had to turn Roman Reigns heel. So I'm sorry this video ended up a little long, but I just had a lot I wanted to get out there, just to join on discussion. So again, if you want to even share any any thoughts on these opportunities, anything else, or any other ideas you had to make Roman Reigns turn heel, like what it should have done in the past, what I can do in the future, just leave it down in the comment section. Again, as always, leave any comments down on anything else you'd like to see me discuss. Subscribe to my channel, my professional channel, and my friend Dan's channel. Like this video. And to stay tuned, I'm hoping to have my Money in the Bank predicted match card made sometime in the next few days. Maybe even tomorrow, I'm not sure. I'm going to get to work on that next after I get this video uploaded. And my baseball videos are temporarily on hold right now for like my video games, my custom players, because my CD-ROM player broke on my computer. So I'm trying to get that fixed. So we'll just see what happens with those. And then, of course, I'm sure anything else random I want to just, make videos for. Just, enjoy myself and have fun and just keep making this channel successful. So again, recently, again, as I probably said a while ago, thank you again to like all the subscribers I got, especially from the WrestleMania series that I made. I'm up to 152 now. Last I checked, and let's keep going. So again, please hit that like button, subscribe button to any of the channels that I talked about. Again, if you have anything else you want me to talk about, or any other comments based on what was shared in this video, just share them in the section. And with that, I am out. See you
Tonight is the night, bright lights, high crowd, yeah, we need to throw down, everybody get loud.